Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30. It is Friday, January 31st, last trading day of the month. News this morning, the PCE was a dud. Nothing happened on that news. This big sell-off we are looking at right now is all about the tariffs coming out, being coming in or being put in place on Saturday, February 1st. And so Canada, Mexico getting 25% tariffs, and that is what's going on. So the market is having a hissy fit, absolutely going bonkers here. Not completely surprising. Now, if a deal is made over the weekend and this doesn't come on, this is going to be a rocket on Monday. So that's what we're dealing with right now. I did one more trade on the Nasdaq. I did not trade the ES. I mean, this is too volatile. And then I'm trading with a 5 point stop, and I mean these bars. That's the little baby bar right there. It's 65 up to the 72. That's 7 points. So 7 to 10 to 15 point bar. So it's just a little bit too easy to get caught in this. Otherwise than that, I would recommend getting short against these little pops. Every time it starts trading higher, get short. If you run into the here in a spot like that, you had to fade a ton of heat, but this habit pullback, beautiful. I was watching it, but I mean it's just too much. As it started heading lower, I was tempted to hop on the short side right at the edge here, but it's just too volatile. So I mean they can run it another 5, 10 points higher in a heartbeat. And the little balance bar is like, yeah, well, Friday afternoon, I'm not going to be yeah, starting something. If I find good trade location, yeah, this was good trade location. It was just a little bit too volatile for, I mean, when it runs up that hard, this last bar running up here is like 75 up to the 81. This is like 13 points, this bar. So it's a little bit on the tall side for me to want to engage it, but you can see right now we are in a market having a hissy fit. This was it's a technical term, hissy fit, if you didn't know that, but that's what it's having. Watch this area of support, the 6,035 to 40s. That is where they're going to stall. If they're going to stall, if they keep going below that, yeah, that could be a real ugly last half hour if that happens. But at this point, we're just been up here at right up here against the 45s. The only thing different in today's trading is really the tariff threat, and that is well, we had a reaction yesterday on it. Right now, I guess it dawned on the market like, yeah, it's happening. So yeah, get out of it, get out of everything. So it's a panic sell-off going into the weekend because of that, and we'll see how this whole thing shapes up over the weekend. If the tariffs are on, we'll probably see more weakness going into Monday. If something is sorted out on Monday, then we're probably going to see a recovery and then some. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about this. At this point, though, assuming that the tariffs are not going to immediately, a deal is not going to be happening over the weekend, and just assuming that Canadians has been flexing their muscles, and I haven't heard anything about Mexico, but whatever happens, if they're on Monday, we're going to see further continuation to the downside. So I would start looking for, I would start this on the short side, looking for retest of that 6,035 to 40 support area. If it's still there before the close, if it's below that, just stay on the short side. But I would be looking for a buying opportunity against this 35 to 40. So that's the right in this support area. If it gets that far down. A bit of caution though. I mean, it doesn't need to hold here. I mean, if it's when you have stuff like this going on, you can never say you don't want to step in front of a falling knife and you have a piece of news or a something like this driving the market because it is not the algos are running it, but there's not enough to stall a moving train. It will stop a moving train. So look at this 35 to 40 support area. These two support areas, 35s up to the 45s. These two support areas, if they both come out, we are on our way lower. At this point, I would be looking for a buying opportunity there, but not very aggressively. It is the last half hour of the day, so no point of being super aggressive on stuff. And the only reason I haven't been more aggressive about trading this is just too volatile. And I mean, I'm trading with a stop that is smaller than all these bars. So you have to be really at the edge, and they may have to move your stop as well to make it happen. So if you're just a little bit wrong, you just find yourself in a bad spot. So leaning short to get started. Let's see if they're going to be able to hold. They are at the support there at 60 now. If they can't hold that, watch for them to run it down to the 40s. So I would just keep staying on the short side if you want to try to trade this at this point. But no point. Don't trade it in the terms of hopping on the short side as it trades lower. That's just going to get you caught. As you see here, the little churn we got going on here. You try to get short around the 63s. You had to fade heat up to 72. You hop in here at the 65. You had to fade heat up to 71. So you had to fade some heat because it's not going straight down. It's just rotating back and forth. On the Nasdaq and the bond side, you can see the bond market is not having a good day either. Right now, it's starting to push lower, and so that's the reaction to it as well. So the bond market heading lower. If you want to see this as a move out of the middle to the downside, you can. It's heading lower. So trade that from the short side as well. We are down well below the 114 area, heading down to 13. So I would trade that from the short side as well. So look to sell strength on the bond market, heading lower. Nasdaq is having I mean that you call it ES having a fit. Nasdaq is having an even bigger fit. Remember, I had last update I had 3 trades, both shakeouts. I tried one more short trade right here, and that was after this rotation down to the lower to the initial balance low. The balance started going sideways, and then it's coming to balance. You see that's coming to balance here around the 780s, and then you see a big move to the downside, and then as that retraced. Right up here to that midpoint again, that's when I took the short. Ready prepared to repair it all the way up here to the 800s. So that would have been a big trade if that happened. But it got pretty good. I got to break even, and then so I had a pretty good trade going here for a bit. And then they ran back up here and stopped me out. So that was it. And then look at what happened. Right after that, they took it lower. That was frustrating. But so hence at that point, I was like, this is just too volatile. I'm not going to be tweaking this. And even if you've been in this short trade and you sat in that trade, this rotation up right there would have stopped you out too. So it is volatile, and that just makes it difficult to stick in a trade for a while. Because at one point you need to kind of lock in your profit. So, but you can see Nasdaq all the way down here to the 21,500s. So Nasdaq is right back to this attractor area, right? They have reversed it all the way back here, below the 800s, right back here to this attractor. Now, if they take out that guy, the 500s, we can head all the way down here to start testing that 200 level. So this could get ugly going into the close. We'll see how bad it gets. We got another 25 minutes left to trade, but so far I'm not seeing the strength. If we see a little bit of bargain hunting going into the close, that would be interesting. It could be a little snapback there, but given the news and the overall fear in the market, I doubt we're going to see that snapback. It could happen, but I doubt it. So I'm not going to count on that. I'm going to look for end period to keep pushing it. If they take out that 500 edge, we could be in some serious trouble, but let's hope they hold that area. So 4 trades on the Nasdaq, only up $40 in that so far. That's it. And I was up maybe in 80 or 90 bucks in this trade. There's a little area right there. It's like 80 or 90 bucks on a Nasdaq, and that was pretty good. And then I saw it, the whole thing just evaporate in front of me and just stopped me out. Like, okay, shit. So that's how it went. Finally, oil and gold. So oil is having a little bit of a it's not it doesn't react really to this news. I think oil is going to be exempt from this, and that would be too much of a direct impact on the domestic economy. They import a lot of oil from Canada, so I think they're going to leave that alone, but I haven't heard that for sure. So that oil has been range bound, and I would just stay on the short side. Range bound primarily, but biases to the downside. And why? Because policy-wise, structurally, everything is going to start coming down. Drill, baby, drill is going to drive these prices down. And as you can see, doesn't happen in a straight line. It just doesn't. So you look to sell strength for rotations back down again. But look at it, oil has been crazy. Going back and forth like that, crazy stuff back and forth, and it's just difficult to trade it this way. And then finally, gold back below the 30s, so 28.30. So gold have an interesting reaction. Not quite. It always puzzles me a little bit. So geopolitical stuff usually drives gold higher, but this is it's headed the other way this time. So figuring out gold's direction is just kind of a mystery sometimes. But they are below this 28.30 area, so I would stay on the short side until they trade up above it. And if they do, I'm looking for range bound trading around 28.50s. But if they stay here below it, we can certainly rotate quite a bit lower. And if you look at capital flow, the capital flow on gold, we don't have anything really happening until we hit 2,800 again. So this whole area can get retraced pretty darn quick. That could be a beautiful short to sit in that thing right down here. Maybe even see that a gap closure trade, closest gap down to the 2780s. So we'll see. At this point, it's kind of unclear because what's driving the market right now is this tariff threat. All right, so that's oil and gold. Back to the ES, and here we are. Looks like they're pushing. The end period is pushing lower. So we'll see how this whole thing is going to shake out on the downside. But oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday. If you hear that threat being lifted, look for a gap up and a nice retracement trade on Monday. If the tariffs are still on Monday morning, you just expect further weakness. Alrighty, guys, you have a great week, and I'll see you back on Monday. Later.